Hi guys, it is Wednesday, October 23rd, and I'm checking in with you on this day of the week because I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about CUSP signs. Because we just moved from the sun in Libra to the sun in Scorpio at 1:20 p.m. today, Toronto time. So last week I was talking a bit about moon signs and how they are confusing and hard to kind of discern unless you're on an astrological software program or speaking with an astrologer, because the moon moves through a sign every 2.5 days. So it makes a full rotation around the earth every 28 days, and roughly every 2.5 days it's in a different sign. So it's pretty zippy. And the sun, which is why we have sun sign astrology, is a lot easier to predict because it moves roughly 1 degree of the zodiac a day. We know that there's 30 degrees in every sign, and then there's 360 degrees in the zodiac wheel. So our calendar and the Earth's rotation around the sun fits pretty neatly into that because we do a full rotation every 365 days and 1/4. But because sometimes we're traveling a little faster and sometimes a little bit slower, the days are longer, they're shorter, the date is not always perfect when we move from one sign into the next. It's not like the 21st of every month we move from Libra to Scorpio, Scorpio to Sagittarius, so on and so forth. It could be the 19th of a month, the 21st, up to the 23rd or 24th, i.e. today, where it is October 23rd, and if you were born before 1:20 p.m. today, your sun would have been in Libra, and born after that time in Toronto, your sun would be in Scorpio. So at around like 1:18, the sun was at 1:18, 1:19. The sun was at 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Libra, because there's 60 minutes in every degree. And then at 1:20 it went to 0 degrees, 0 minutes of Scorpio. So there is a significance. People will often ask me about cusp dates, if they are born on a cusp date when the sun is changing signs, like if they're born at 29 degrees at the end of one sign, or if they're born at 0 degrees the beginning of a new sign, if that has significance. It does a little bit, but I'm not going to get into that here because it's a deeper subject. And I want to be clean and crisp. That is what I'm striving for. And this was mostly just to kind of like discuss the reason why it's important, if you are born on a cusp date, to consult with an astrologer, or to go onto astro.com and put in your particulars, date of birth, time, as close, as accurate as you can get, and year and location and all that good stuff. And then it will tell you where the sun was, what sign the sun was in. Because this happens to me sometimes when I'm doing tables at these vendor villages, when people are buying gifts for friends, or sometimes even when they're trying to pick out something for themselves. They're like, I don't know if I'm an Aquarius or a Pisces. Like, I was born on February 19th. And some people tell me this and some people tell me that. So then I have to whip out my phone and put in their particulars and let them know what their sun sign is. And sometimes they're coming to me and they're like older women. I had one woman who was 80 that I had to do a gift bag for, and she wasn't quite sure if she was an Aries or a Taurus. So yeah, it's fun. So yeah, we've nosed into Scorpio, which is, as we know, a pretty big sign. Scorpio has been a bit of a theme for me this year. I've been meeting a lot of really awesome Scorpio women. I did 3 Scorpio charts for women in the last few weeks. I have Shannon Cunningham, another Scorpio named Shannon from the Maritimes, who's been helping me a lot with my business. And when I was out in Squamish visiting family, I met my astrological twin, who was born on the same day, same year. We were born like 3 hours apart, and she was quite the dynamo. It was really cool. It's the first time I've ever had that experience. I know Jodie Foster was born on November 19th, but we're not the same year, and I think we're quite different. But this woman, Bianca, was, oh my God, a force to be reckoned with. I took a page from her book because she really is fearless, and we've become social media friends, and just looking at how she presents herself and how she attacks things. And anyway, I find her very inspiring. I want to be a little bit more like her. even though we have, like, all of our planets are basically in the same sign, rising signs are different. And then some of the stuff, the moon especially, because it's moving, you know, a degree every 2 hours, it was like at a different degree. So our planets were a little bit different. They're in different houses, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it was juicy to kind of attack. And last week when I was speaking to a younger Scorpio client, she was talking to me about these emotional states she gets into, and what is it attached to in her chart, and is it like a transiting thing, or is she going through a tough time? And I dug a little bit deeper with her. And then at a certain point, I just said, you know, babes, you're Scorpio. It's a very intense sign. And sometimes the feelings you can attach to events or thoughts. And sometimes it's just totally rando. Like last week, I had to sit down on the stairs and have a little cry. I just got seized by this deep, despairing sadness, and, you know, cried it out, had my moment. Then it turned into a bit of darkness, and then I decided to take it for a walk to Canada Post, and because I had to send some packages in the mail, some gift bags to Arizona, and I put them on the counter, and I was feeling all delicate and despondent. And the guy could tell there was something a little wrong with me, because we usually have quite warm exchanges. And then he obviously didn't think about it too much, because he was in kind of like an aggressively chipper kind of mood. And before I knew it, he'd whipped out a Sharpie and wrote USA on my beautifully prepared box, which I really take a lot of care when I'm putting my gift bags in the mail. And I was like, and he's like, it's a different country. And then I just kind of didn't say anything, and I was trying to restrain myself, keep my stinger in. And then he was like, did you have a chance to do your customs forms from home? Because he knows I mail a lot of stuff. And anyway, we were not jiving on this particular day. And when I left and he told me to have a good day, I did not repeat it back, which that is about as rude as I can get with someone who is like working in customer service, because I've worked in it most of my life and I'm usually pretty sympathetic. But anyway, I wiggled my way home, and you know, it was a few hours, and then the mood kind of lifted. So it was nice to just talk to a younger Scorpio about the fact that, yeah, sometimes you can get like overtaken by very intense states, and it's okay. It's just like, we're a water sign. We're really freaking intense, and don't be afraid of it, but just be ready to let it go when it's ready to go. A few hours later, I was right as rain. Made myself a nice little coffee, and I think I laid down for a nap. But anyway, I digress. We're into Scorpio season, and I'll be talking more about that next week. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and that's all for now.